Hey guys, MCU Collector here with a new video, and next up on the review list is the Xmen Xfactor 2-pack. This is a fan channel exclusive, the Hasbro Marvel Legends series, Marvel 80th anniversary, the 80 years line continuing going on. So this one came from GameStop. I pre-ordered, I don't know how long ago, pretty early on when they had first gone up, and then GameStop shipped it out. So as far as I know, they're not hitting stores yet. This could be like a Goldar situation where they sent out online orders first before they would go out to stores. So who knows what's really going on. I know Dorkside actually did ship some out, and I think they were the first to get it, and then they shipped some out. So it's kind of been going around. I have a buddy that, you know, he got his not too long ago, but I picked mine up, or it was delivered, so I'm very excited. I love the packaging. I love the way that this blue stands out, and we get all these X logos all over it. So it's really cool. So Xmen, Marvel's Havok, Polaris, we see they come with the same effects in just different colors. We get some additional hands for Polaris, not for Havok. It looks like he doesn't come with anything additional except for those effect pieces. The side artwork looking pretty awesome. It's the same artwork from those old trading cards from the 90s, so that looks really cool. I really like the way that came out looking. Here is a look at the back of the package, showing some stuff from the trading cards themselves. I think these were the back of the cards there, and then the front of the cards. So that's actually really cool. In fact, it actually mentioned something there. So we'll take a look at that, and then we'll go into the two different bios right now. Okay, so the back of the package actually says, the artwork on this package is inspired by the iconic trading cards from the early 1990s. So there you go. Okay, and for Havok, it just kind of goes over the bio information of him. So he is Alex Summers. The bio reads, Alex Summers is an alpha-level mutant with the power to absorb cosmic energy and convert it to plasma. There you have it. Polaris, Lorna Dane. Like her father, Magneto, Lorna Dane has the mutant ability to control magnetism. So pretty cool. And Polaris, as far, has not been in a movie at all, but they did use Polaris, the Lorna Dane character, in Gifted, which was the TV show on Fox, and I think that got canceled after the second season. I actually thought it was a pretty good show. And then Alex Summers, Havok, who was in X-Men First Class. He was also in Days of Future Past briefly, and then he was in Apocalypse, and he was killed in Apocalypse. So interesting, but of course they kind of flip-flopped that ridiculously. So Cyclops is actually the older brother to Alex Summers. Alex Summers is supposed to be the younger brother, but in the movies, when they did First Class, they really switched that all up. So one of those things that they had to do. Not sure if this is going to matter, but here is the UPC for you folks. It is a fan channel exclusive. I know Best Buy Online is going to have it. Whether the stores actually get it, not sure. Who knows? Fan channel ones are kind of weird. I don't even know if Amazon was getting it, because Amazon's getting some of the fan channels, you know, shipped and sold by Amazon. They were getting some of the fan channels, not all of them. So I'm not sure where this one falls. Hasbro Pulse isn't shipping out yet. Entertainment Earth, as far as I know, isn't. Big Bad Toy Store, I don't think is. So far it was just Dorkside and then GameStop to actually start shipping these out. So anyway, get right to it and let's open these two up. Okay, so this insert is just too cool to not show. So looking at it, it actually has like all the different trading cards from the 90s. So we can see that Jean Grey's cut off, but we got Colossus, Gambit, Storm, Rogue, Colossus again, Iceman, Deadpool, Beast, Cable. So really cool. It's all in the collage of it in the background. So that is a pretty awesome insert. I just thought that was too cool to not show you guys. Okay, so here are the Havok and Polaris figures out of the package, and there's some really cool things going on. The head sculpts on these two figures came out great. The jacket on Havok is awesome. The effects kind of suck because we just get them over and over again, but they work and they serve their purpose. There's no additional shading or coloring or anything on the effects here, just the green plastic and just the yellow plastic. At least with some in the previous times, we've seen some different colors, some shading and whatnot, you know, if they're two-tone or whatever the case may be. We didn't get that, and then only additional interchangeable hands for Polaris. So a couple of things. We'll take a closer look at the figures so you guys can really see kind of all the details and what's going on. Then we'll go over the articulation. I won't go over the effects too much other than what you see here. But one thing that I'm going to tell you kind of off the bat is Polaris's head, even though the hair is all big and stuff, I can see depending on certain poses you're going to try, it's going to be very top heavy and probably going to fall backwards because of all the weight with the hair. There's a lot of it. Havok is weird because we get Bucky Cat body mold. Now the Bucky Cat body mold is it's not terrible, it's just okay. The problem with this particular one is we get those same tiny feet, so it's hard for him to stand. And then he's very top heavy as well. So the jacket is new and the arms are very large and bulky. So he's very top heavy, which kind of causes some problems. So it took me a couple minutes to get him to stand. He can stand, but again, you're going to have to spend some time with it. So let's just get in for a closer look. Okay, so here's a close-up of the Havok, and he looks really good. The head sculpt is kind of the highlight, and the jacket, but the head sculpt came out looking really good. It's done in a blue plastic, so a little bit on this side of the nose, you could kind of see that blue bleed through a little bit. You know, when you paint a light color over a darker color, that tends to happen, but it's all done actually pretty nicely. Eyebrows came out clean, eyes came out clean, so looks good. There's some brown wash in that blonde hair, so it makes it look really good. The jacket looks awesome. We get some of this blue shading throughout. Let me lighten it up so you guys can really see it. So you get that blue shading on that leather jacket, and that looks really good. Even on the inside, diamond pattern that you see on the collar, really nice. Yellow for the zipper, that came off pretty good. I have no complaints there. So that just looks really good. We get the nice Xfactor or Xmen logo there, and that came out very clean. That looks really good, and you can see that it's just kind of bulky. So it's just a piece over the standard Bucky Cat, but it's on there pretty tight. They're not really going to be able to get that removed unless you're really trying to work out some magic. But then these arms, because the jacket sleeve, are pretty large, so it's going to be really tough. The yellow is applied pretty cleanly. The bleed starts to bleed. The blue bleeds through the yellow a little bit over here, but nothing to complain about. That's to be expected. No big deal there. We get this belt piece there with a little bit of yellow paint on it. We get these yellow bands that are the same from like the Cyclops figure, so you just kind of have to wrestle with getting them to stay up, or you can glue them down. A little bit of yellow paint on the sleeves, and then the hands are done in a black plastic color with the skin tone over for the fingers, because he has the half-cut gloves. Now, when some of the official promo images were first released of this figure, I think Dorkside had posted some from Hasbro, and it looked like his hands were tiny. So they are small. For whatever reason, that image made them look much smaller. But yes, they are small. And then the trickiest thing is you see the rim around that wrist where the hand pegs in. So yes, these hands are small, or actually better yet, I think the arms are just too big. So it's kind of unfortunate. So if you can look past it, I mean, I have a hard time not looking at it now. So that's kind of a tricky thing. But again, I don't think it's terrible. But, you know, Hasbro could have and should have done better, as they have usually. So here is the Polaris figure, and this looks really good. The head sculpt came out looking great. That green bright lipstick was applied very nicely. I like the way that looks. The eyebrows, the eye makeup, the eyes all came out really good. Now the hair is awesome. You could see a couple of the different green tones in there. So we have this standard green plastic here, and then this brighter green wash throughout the top and throughout some of it right there. So that is really cool. We also get that in the front. So that looks great, really awesome, all curly. The sculpt of it is really nice. So again, it's a little bit heavy, but it's actually not too bad. X logo there is applied cleanly. The yellow over the blue gets a little bit rough around the collar, but it's not too bad. So the paint apps are pretty clean, and we know that it seems like with a lot of the X-Men figures, for whatever reason, we just have kind of some complications and problems with the paint, but mine's pretty good. We have this floating belt piece here, then just all blue throughout the rest of the figure, but then we get these bands here, and you could kind of move them around, but they are on pretty tight. We got very similar ones for her wrists there, and then the tough thing is the feet are yellow for the boots, and then there's yellow paint over the blue, which is not the greatest on some of the spots, especially around the hinge. You can see a lot of the blue bleed through like there, but not terrible. But there she is. I think she looks awesome. Let's take a look at these two articulation. Okay, so going over the articulation, we'll go over Polaris first. She can look all the way down. She can't look up. Not really at all, because that hair is really going to get in the way and hinder that articulation. She gets some good head pivot in there, and you can get full turn in there and just move the hair. It just goes right over the shoulders, no problem. She can get her shoulders to come up very high, but the sculpt of the upper torso you can see is going to hinder some of that motion going up, but it's really not too bad. If you want to get a full rotation, you just have to be careful of that portion there. There is a single jointed elbow like all of the female figures, but you can get a decent amount of bend in there, definitely more than 90 degrees. Same on this side, but you got to get the elbow the right way so you could do that. So there. Diaphragm joint, typical for female figures, so you're going to get some pivot going to the side, which actually is usually more than we get with some of the figures. Pivot to the side that way works out great. Forward only ever so slightly, but back you definitely get a lot more going that way. Legs go out this far apart. There's no waist swivel on the female figures. Leg kicks up very far forward, goes back a little bit. There is an upper thigh cut. Mine's a little bit stiff, so you might kind of have to break that in a little bit. Double jointed knee, which works well. Foot hinges all the way down, hinges up a fair amount, and then you do get ankle pivot in there. So that is the articulation for Polaris. We'll look at Havok now. So Havok can look all the way down to an unnatural amount, because then the ball just looks weird. It sits on there kind of funky. He can look up with no problems. There's a lot of movement and feels a little loose, so we get all kinds of pivot going on in there. Full rotation naturally, of course. Arms can only go up that high. You're not going to get any more going on there, but you do get full rotation there. There is an upper bicep swivel. Upper bicep swivel. Sorry, guys. Double jointed elbow works out pretty good with his tiny hands. So you can see there, it's just cut kind of weird, but it's kind of bigger because of the jacket sleeve. So that's, was naturally going to happen. There is an ab crunch in there. So if you undo the button for the jacket down there, you can get use of that ab crunch going back. Going down, going back, not really, because the jacket's really going to hinder that. There is the waist swivel because we are on standard bucky cap body mold. Legs go out that far apart. He can kick forward that much. He can go back quite a bit. Upper thigh cut there. Double jointed knee. We have a calf swivel there. Foot hinges all the way down, hinges all the way up, and you get ankle pivot on these tiny, tiny feet. So there is the articulation for these two figures. Very good. Let me reset these back and let's see some other members of the Xfactor. So here are these four members. Now I know Strong Guy is going to be the Build-A-Figure in the Deadpool wave later on in 2020. So obviously no Strong Guy right now. I do have two other multiple man figures that I didn't bring out. Quicksilver I didn't bring out, so I didn't really bring out the whole team, but I just wanted to show you guys kind of some of these ones. Now I brought out Wolfsbane. This is the New Mutants look, but I am going to do a head swap to see if that head will fit on this, and then somebody can kind of do some kind of custom and kit bash thing to give her that Xfactor look, I'm sure. But I think multiple man was just kind of the biggest because it has the matching costume. But anyway, so we'll get right to it and we'll see if we can swap these heads. So let's pop this Polaris head off. We'll see if we can get this Wolfsbane head on. They do use a very similar body. The upper torso is different because the Polaris has a new sculpted one, so you can see there's like ring there for a zipper portion there. But anyway, okay, so Wolfsbane head does go on there. I think it looks a little funky, and then somebody will have to paint over the skin tone. But there's things that you can do to make that work. I think if you paint the legs to give her the furry look, and things like that, that can work out. So we're going to pop that off, and then let's pop Polaris's head back on, and then let's do a comparison to the previously released Polaris and Havok figures from, it's actually a few years ago now, because we got Polaris in the Warlock wave, we had Havok in the Juggernaut wave. So let's see how they compare, and there's going to be a huge difference between these two Polaris figures. Actually, not that much of a size difference. I thought it was going to be a much bigger size difference between the two. So there's that Polaris, and there is that Havok, if he will stand, which is still Bucky Cap, of course. So there those ones are. So let's do a head swap with these two Havoks, because I know people have been asking about that. It's Bucky Cap, so there shouldn't be an issue as far as getting the heads to pop on and off. So I know people are probably going to do all kinds of custom things there, and I think that looks pretty awesome. So if somebody were to do some different paint, that would look really good actually. That's pretty cool. Now let's see about these two on if the heads can kind of swap. They wouldn't really match the looks of Polaris, but you know, let's see, same character, let's see if it could work, right? So that does work, and that actually looks pretty good and fits well with the figure. Let's see if this one fits on there, but it seems a little, actually the head seems a little small for this one, which is kind of weird. But it does sit on there. The hair of the green a little, way brighter than the look of the costume. So that could really work out depending on how you want to do that. So that's actually pretty cool, and I think that looks really good. Okay, so there is my review. You guys let me know down in the comments below. Are you excited for this pack? I know there's a few people out there that this is their most anticipated pack of the year. I'm curious to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Also, if you guys liked the video, please hit that thumbs up button. I greatly appreciate the support. Subscribe if you haven't already done so, and also hit that notification bell. And as always, thank you for watching.